Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the latest episode of Designated Survivor, The Confession. And, again, I really enjoyed the main aspects of this episode. The only part, again, that kind of drug it down was teenager Leo. But it wasn't so much that it would be a detriment to the episode. I just think that they don't have a handle yet on what they need to do with this character. Unless it's just being made to create more drama, but they've already got good, solid kind of political drama with the rest of it. So, what's going on now is that Tom Kirkman's kind of preparing for the funeral of the previous president and kind of going about his business trying to figure out what's going on, and then a hack happens at the White House, and everything's kind of weird and all that because the lights go out and only his computer is affected. And after they kind of look into it, a file has been uploaded of Al-Sakar and the main leader taking responsibility, supposedly, for the attack on the Capitol. And I was just like, if you're a group that has perpetuated an attack on your enemy, you'd pretty much take responsibility on every open channel you can. You wouldn't take the time to find hackers, hack into one of the most secure kind of networks, the White House, and then leave it on one dude's computer who may or may not show it to the rest of the country. Now, granted, if you were thinking that the leader is trying to point the country at an enemy, at a target to put them in that direction, that's a pretty good tactic. Though, it's like, it would have been better if they had accidentally leaked it or something. Now, my question is how they were able to get the leader or whatnot, or be able to affect it to the extreme of him taking credit for the attack. And even Kirkman's like, are we sure about this? With the FBI director, deputy director, saying that his agent, Hannah, has a theory that we are being pointed in the misdirection for what's really going on. And that was pretty cool. We also get the surprise that someone has survived from the attack, Congressman Peter. And it's like, okay, how did you survive this attack? And that introduced some, interesting kind of machinations down the line. So the main thing that was going on was he was getting prepared for the funeral. Once the video was uploaded to his computer, he showed it to Congresswoman Kimball, kind of asking her what she thought and everything, and she's like, well, this is good, show this, we need an enemy to go after. But she's like, well, I defer to your call, I don't want your position or whatnot. And of course, once you were liking her, they start going on. They had talked with the deceased president's son, kind of getting a handle for it, and then they had an interview where the reporter pretty much asked if Kirkman was fired, and he stuck to his guns and told the truth and said that he was not fired, but that he was going to be given another assignment as an ambassadorship. And then that led to this whole media storm because everyone's like, he was fired, he's not supposed to be president, and even the former president's son was like, you shouldn't be president, don't speak at my father's funeral, do not give the eulogy. And then of course gives it to Kimball. And it's like, okay, she's just like everything, politics, doesn't care, wants to grab her own stuff. Because she was gonna easily, pretty much confirm Tom's pick for cabinet, because they need that kind of stuff. I mean, granted, you gotta balance the political intrigue, but that's kind of something that needs to be taken care of to have a cabinet to get the government back up and running. And it was kind of interesting to see these machinations. He's starting to hit back on people with this kind of stuff. And then, of course, out of nowhere, the video leaks. And at first he goes to Kimball and is like, did you do this? And she's like, nope, but I wish I had. And he's giving her, pretty much hell for what she's been doing. And she's like, well, that's more than 2.5 years. Gotta give a chance for them primaries. And it's like, okay, so you want to be president. Cool. There's this attack that's been going on, and you just want to see what's good for yourself. Good on you. And I'm just like, it's good for the intrigue because it gives an opponent and the kind of test for Tom as a character to become we've seen that he's a good guy, And he's going to try and translate that into the presidency because he didn't lie to them on camera. And it was kind of interesting to see the kind of push and pull between his two kind of chiefs of staff. And Aaron wanted to leak that kind of stuff and kind of tell him to lie about all this, but Emily didn't. And kind of seeing that push and pull and trying to keep this all together, doing a family dinner at 6:30, which didn't kind of happen, but kind of did. It was later than usual, but that's because he had a lot of stuff to deal with. So once that's going on, he's now got to deal with all that. And we also see that Hannah talked with Congressman Peter, who had survived the bombing, but he did not remember any details. And she had actually tasked one of her IT people with pretty much illegally hacking into this phone of this dead woman to see about pictures. And, of course, the deputy like to stop that, and that's mainly because she was having an affair with one of the senators and wanted to see if he was alive. And, of course, they kind of had to talk about that, and like, okay, good. It's kind of cool to see that she was willing to go illegal and kind of like go off the reservation a little bit, whereas Tom is trying to stick to who he is. Now, granted, she came back around at the end, but it's kind of cool to see these two characters kind of like adjusting to their new situations. So then towards the end, we get to see that actually that senator was not there during the lost footage because they were able to get into her camera and see that. It's like, okay. And then towards the end of the episode, we kind of get some reflection and everything. Tom reflected with the dead president's son, Tyler, about how the president was actually at some of his recitals, gave him the kind of program that was there, and kind of wanted to make sure that he felt that his father did love him and tried to be there for him, because Seth had explained that they had a falling out like 2 years ago and that they weren't really that close leading up to the attack. And that kind of made Tyler realize he'd made a mistake and actually called him Mr. President. So that's kind of cool that Tom can show those kind of sides to himself. We also saw in the episode that his wife had found out that Leo was dealing drugs, and his excuse was he didn't know why he was doing it. And I'm like, there's other things. I don't know why I made that ramp and jumped off of it. I don't know why I tried to do a burnout in the parking lot and wreck the car. I don't know why I tried to stuff 32 chicken nuggets in my mouth. These are things that you do not know why you do. You have the urge. You're like, this is a good idea at the time. Dealing drugs is a more complicated matter in that you would have to know that it is a felony, even the basis level of your mind. Even if you got hormones raging and you are an idiot, you know, this is not a good thing to do. And I'm going to have to do a lot of smart things to make sure I'm not caught, which he really didn't. And it's just like, I don't know why I do it. I'm like, you could have given some reason, like attention, because his friends pressured him into doing it, because he wanted money for something, anything other than I don't know. And it's just like, okay, so he's going to be the annoying character in this. It's going to pretty much be like, okay, hopefully they find something for him to do, because that's going to get a little bit annoying. So she doesn't tell Tom right away, but they have their kind of family dinner at night, and it's like cereal and all that. And it's like, yeah, do that, dude, yeah. And he's picked Aaron as his chief of staff because he wants a kind of opposing viewpoints to kind of help him make the best decisions, but he has appointed Emily as a special advisor to him. And we find out later that Aaron has pretty much been the one leaking everything to the reporter that was doing the interview, leaking the video, everything. So his kind of game, we don't even know what's going on. He's pretty much trying to jockey his power to the position that he wants. And chief of staff is, yeah, they can change out all the time, like Emily said, but he's in a pretty prime position. He can influence people, presidents, advisors, all this kind of stuff. And he's like in a central local point, and it's going to be kind of exciting to see what his end game is and if he wants Kirkman to succeed or not. So those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.